life is a story written time over time. Shine Africa podcast reviews works written by African writers. Welcome to the home of captivating literature talks. I am your host, Juliana Ndenya.
Hello everybody, I am so excited today to be having one and only Mr. Ngumbau at Shine Africa podcast. Today we're going to do a book review on his book that was published a few months ago, and I am so excited. I won't mention the title of the book. I will welcome Mr. Ngumbau to tell us who he is, what he does, and the title of the book. Welcome, Mr. Andrew.
Thank you. I am excited to be with you today as we review the book. My name is Andrew Ngumbau. In terms of profession, I am a teacher. I teach English and literature. So majorly, a second language instructor. I am an author and a poet too. The book that we'll be reviewing today is known as The Wage of Sin. The title has been drawn from the Holy Scripture, the Bible, and it is a book that I am really excited to be dissecting today with your host.
Oh. Thank you so much. The title is quite interesting. Why choose the title The Wage of Sin?
All right. From the Bible, we are told that the wage of sin is death. So as we explore whatever is happening in the book, we realize that a person reaps what they sow. So if you did good deeds, the good deeds come back in return. And if your actions were evil, evil is repaid back. I think in Greek they call it karma.
Oh, that's quite interesting already. And from the lookout of things, the title makes everything to be interesting. And actually the reader gets curious to know what is written inside. And that was a good choice of topic. Mr. Andrew, why choose writing?
I think people choose particular things depending on experiences and whatever environment that they are involved in. Like I may say that the wage of sin majorly was brought about by my own life experience, because majority of the things that are written in the book are real, especially the childhood stage where the character is doing this and that. But there are also other things that I had to be fictitious, but I created a story out of experience, and it spans out my imagination, and that is how I was able to come up with the book. I also borrowed from the daily human experience of what is happening around us. So basically that is what necessitated me to write such a book.
That is so interesting. I have read the book The Wage of Sin, and I saw that you've named the main character, the protagonist, you've given him the name Andrew. Why?
Majority of the time when you are reading something, be it poetry, be it you listening to a spoken word, be it you are reading a book like this one we are reviewing, you realize that you want to really associate with the character. You want to know the character. You want to see your life through the lenses of the character that has been created for you by the author. So when I chose Andrew basically because the life of that character and my life itself, we share a lot in the experiences that are happening in it. So Andrew was a character that I chose because I knew that people would easily relate with that character.
Oh, great. So does that mean that really this novel is about your life story, or does it have have some parts that you borrowed from your life story?
I wouldn't say that it is autobiographical. It is not. Actually, this book, it is true that there are some parts of the story that are real about my own life, like some of the experiences are true life experiences that I've gone through. But the entire book is not about me. The entire book is for all the people out there. It has been created through experience and observing what is happening out there. Even though I said that majority of the story as we begin actually embodies me.
Oh, that is quite interesting. I have read the book and I have loved the book. Mr. Andrew, the setting of the book. When I read the book, of course I am a Kamba and I come from the Kamba region, and I could actually resonate with what you're talking. But why choose that kind of setting? Tell us the kind of setting and why choose it.
Right. I think majority of people who come up with very nice innovations, they are people who are dreamers. They dream fast and then they actualize what they had dreamt. I wanted to create a book that even the lowest person at the village could be able to relate with. A person, a setting that was not complicated, a setting that is a place that you can really relate with. I created a story that is spanning here in Ukambani, the life experiences here in Ukambani, and the main experiences that are general about life. Like if this book is taken to a student that is in high school or even in primary school or even in campus, they can be able to see their lives in the same story. So I wanted to write a story with a setting that people will resonate with and a book that they can own as their own. It is my book, but I needed other people to read and see their lives within that same story.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Having read this book, Mr. Andrew, I could hear your voice in the book. There's something that I've learned along as a writer. I am also a writer, and I've learned about authenticity, about hearing the writer's voice. And you've written it in a very simple language, a language that can be understood by everybody. Who is your target audience?
The book, I targeted people from all walks of life. I wanted to write a book that parents can read and relate with. I wanted to write a book that learners in schools can read and understand. I wanted to write a book that lawyers can relate to. I wanted to write a book that prisoners and convicts could also read and be able to relate with. Because in the modern world, betrayal has been the order of the day. And if a person reads this book, they are able to identify and be able to know that your enemy is your greatest friend.
Oh, wow, your enemy is your greatest friend. Mr. Andrew, we've talked about the setting, we've talked about all that, and maybe our audience are just thinking of, now, what about the book itself? Can you just give our audience a taste or a piece of cake of what is in the book, of what you've written? In other words, a summary of your book.
All right. Basically, The Wage of Sin is a book that spans the life of Andrew from childhood, teenage years, and after school, that is after college, when he gets into the workplace. Now, this book you can be able to see your life as when you were a child, the people mistreated you, how your life experiences were formed through the events that are happening in your life. It also brings about the issue of in case there is a challenge whereby parents are separating the husband and the wife, it is the kid of the child that suffers this. So this book, you are able to see our tables turn so quickly. As you begin the book, Andrew is at his prime. He has everything that he has ever dreamt of. He has worked so hard to be on the top. But as the book comes at the middle, at the climax, Andrew has nothing. Actually, he's in prison. And as we span the book and we come to the end, now the book becomes more interesting. As we begin, Andrew is married. As we get at the middle, Andrew has been divorced. As we get at the end, Andrew is no longer married to the woman he was married in the beginning of the book, but getting married to another woman. But we also get to see he has love for his children, so he doesn't abandon them.
Oh, awesome. That is a quite interesting book and a lovely book to be read by each and everybody. So I encourage each and everybody to get a copy of this book, sit down, relax, and enjoy. Mr. Andrew, which are the contemporary issues that you've addressed or that are addressed in your novel?
Contemporary issues in the society that we have really delved in. Number one, those people who come from the rural areas, those who have not been born in the urban centers, and especially in the big towns, we have often heard of issues of witchcraft and sorcery and let's say superstition. So we all know, we have been brought up in the rural setting where people talk about that angle, that aunt who is evil. So the book really brings about the issue of sorcery, the witchcraft, and how it is done, but it also brings about the issue of religion. Actually, we see that Pastor Mwangangi is able to revert what had been already done by the witches and the sorcerers during that night when Andrew was born. It also addresses the issue of fidelity in marriage. So we are able to see that a man might be very, very faithful to one wife, but the wife is swayed because of the issue of gullibility, or even the issue of seeing a better escape. So it also brings about the issue of infidelity. It has also brought about the issue of revenge. After Andrew learns that the wife was the snitch, the person who has brought about all these changes in his life and defrauding him, he tells her that he can never get back to her. So it really brings about how people you can do something to a person and they decide that no, this is not the kind of a person I want to be associated with. It has also really in depth talked about education in general and the importance of getting educated, because now Andrew has everything thanks to hard work and education. Lastly, the issue we can really talk about, we can also talk about the issues of those people who are have-nots in the society. There is an incident in the park that Andrew and his children witness when a young man who is ragged, who doesn't have food, tries to really get something from a woman, and the woman rebuffs him, tells him that he's not supposed to be there. But the young man becomes aggressive and threatens to really mess the woman up. So it shows us how we can be quick to judge and rebuff people instead of trying to help them. So I think these are are things that are happening in our own societies, and they are things that we can relate with. So basically, I think its relevance has been shown through the highlighted examples that I've given.
Oh, wow, thank you so much. As you're talking, I'm thinking about this novel, and I'm seeing it as a space that you're giving people as a mirror. Let me call it as a mirror of the society, whereby when somebody reads your book, he or she is able to, in one way or another, see what they've been going through in life in the book. And the thing is, you've really integrated everything so well, such that everybody who is born in the urban areas can still see themselves, can still see the kind of life they experience day in, day out. And the person the other person who is still born in the rural areas still sees themselves in the book. And that is so good. Congratulations on, having this book out here and agreeing to, feed us with the right knowledge, feed us with a good story that we can sit back, read, and, see ourselves in the book. That takes us to the next thing. Of course, you've written this book and it should be good. It should be read in the society. So why should the society embrace your book?
The society should embrace my book basically because, like you've just said, when a person reads this book, in whatever walk of life they are in, they will be able to see their lives within the story. As you read the story, you will be able to see your own life. You will walk in the shoes of Andrew as the character in the book. You will be able to see your life in childhood, your life in teenage years, your life all through up to the point where now you are. You will also be able to anticipate and be careful, even though no one is so careful to know what is going to happen tomorrow. But you will be able to know that even the person that you hold and so dearly and think that they are your best, you'll be able to realize that they can be able to become your next biggest enemy. Because I believe that majority of the men who are married, they really hold their wives in high self-esteem, and it is another part of you. Now imagine that person now turning against you. That person has everything, all the weapons to destroy you completely.
Okay, well, thank you. That reminds me of a thing that you've talked about divorce. And I am really wondering why choose to talk about divorce in the book?
This is a good question. If you look at our own parents, majority of these parents have been able to stay married for 30, 40 years. They have brought us up when they are still married. And we have witnessed marriages happening since when we were teenagers. Majority of our modern marriages are breaking up anyhow. A person has been married, within a year they have divorced, or the issue of separation. And I wanted to address the main reason as to why a person may choose to divorce. From outside, when you begin reading the book, you see a perfect marriage, something that is so enticing, something that you'd really want to be part of. But then behind the scenes, Andrew is in prison. Behind the scenes, Andrew has been dragged to give out documents which are very important that later the wife uses to really deceive him and defraud him. So divorce, I wanted to address it because it is a an issue that is really disturbing people in our modern society right now. I know that majority of the time we see very good weddings which have been featured in our national televisions, and after a few days we hear that they have divorced. So I wanted to bring about that because it is something that is a contemporary issue in the society, and to be addressed in my book is like giving the people a snippet of knowing what is really happening around them.
Wow, it is indeed a contemporary issue. So, who is your favorite character in The Wage of Sin?
My favorite character in The Wage of Sin, I would most definitely say Andrew.
Oh wow, it also seems so. Even when you're reading the book, there's a way you've brought out the character, and the character seems to be so close to your heart. We can't fail by talking about the style of writing. Yeah, so which style is dominant in your novel?
All right. I think there are several styles which have been used in writing this book. But before I talk about the style, let me begin with talking about the narrative technique that I've used in the book. There are two dominant styles that we use when we are writing a book and you really want to reach out to the audience. It is the first person narrative technique, that is the I narrative or I narrator. So you use I, you talk, I went, I did this and this and this, and people will be able to relate to that because it is as if they are the ones who are doing the actions in the story. Then you can also use the third person narrative point of view, where you use the name of a person as a third person out there. So the book has been written in the third person point of view, where we are using the character Andrew, and character Andrew does this and this and this. As we read the book, I have also really utilized the style we call flashback. Flashback is a dominant style that I've used, and in the majority of my works, because this is not the only book that I have written, there are several which are not yet been published, but I really like using the flashback style because it really brings about, builds the character to be able to know why whatever the events that are happening now, why they are happening, because majority of the time you realize that the past has a relation to the present. Your future is determined by the actions that you do in the past. Yeah, so there will be foreshadowing. Some other times I also utilize the style that I have talked about, some few proverbs here and there, but the dominant flashback is really dominant in the story.
Oh wow, you've already talked about that this is not the only book, that there are more other books. Before we even begin talking about the other books that you've written or the other works that are in line for us, I'll just want to ask you about the challenges that you've gone through as an upcoming author and writer.
The challenges are there, and there are many, and basically the biggest challenge for any upcoming artist or a writer, it is marketing. The problem is not about writing the book, because personally, writing a book is the easiest thing to do. As for me, I may say it is the easiest because, according to me, it is easy. But then, for you, it might not be easy. For those who are listening out there, thinking about writing a book, it is not easy. It is difficult because if I remember well, The Wage of Sin was, I wrote it in 2 years. I would write, get to a particular point, stop there, then continue later. But later, after writing this book and finishing, I was able to write other like 3 books in a few months' time. So you continue on in your craft, and with the time it becomes the best. So the biggest challenge, one, it is marketing. You have really struggled, gotten the money out there, you've published the book, but you don't know who is going to buy your book. You are like this new person that you really believe in yourself, but no one knows you. In this country where it is a person, it is a man, it is who you know. Who do you know? Who can be able to buy your book? I mean, in a country where we have so many great authors. We have in Kenya, we have Ngugi wa Thiong'o, we have other authors that I follow, like authors Sakwa Ogoma, we have Betty Kilonzo, we have Saleh Clarissa. There are people who are bigger and better than me. So people want to know, why should I buy your book? Why spend my money on buying your book? So the issue of marketing really is a challenge, because you may get the book, you have printed it, but you still the copy is there because you don't know how to go about marketing. Again, there are people who criticize your book. People will come out there, read your book, and they'll ultimately tell you this is trash. I think it is going to hurt you, but with the time you learn to live with the people, because if the person says that it is trash, then it means that you need to put in the work. You need to really get back there and bring about something good. If everybody is going to tell you that your book is good, some of them are going to lie to you, and you will bask in that glory and don't put in the work. So I think those two critics, those who really hate you for no apparent reason, and the marketing part where you have the books with you and no one is showing willingness to buy it, those are the greatest challenges for an upcoming author or an artist.
Oh, wow. I am actually learning a lot, and I am preparing myself for the kind of challenges that I will face when I begin publishing my work. There's something that we mentioned about writing a book and leaving it for some time and coming back later. The writer's block. Mm-hmm. What do you do, especially now that you are talking to other authors, other writers who are also writing? What can you tell them when they experience the writer's block? When at this particular time, when they just feel, I can't continue writing this book anymore, and ideas seem not to flow, nothing seems to come in your head and mind.
All right. I think recently I have not experienced any writer's block, and I can say this is all the areas. With the time you get the knack of it and you're able to maneuver through it. But those people who experience a writer's block, it is because maybe you have learned to do things in a routine kind of a way. For example, if you write, every time that you write, you just pick up your laptop and you just type. There will come a time when you sit at your table and you're just staring at the screen and nothing is coming out. So how about you try to change the place that you really write in? Assuming that you sit in the sitting room or living room and you're doing your work there, change, go outside there, sit at the balcony, work out there. You'll experience a different kind of flow of thoughts, or even travel. While you're traveling, you'll be able to gather other ideas about the story, or move from wherever you are, go to another different place. Those experiences are going to shape, and you'll be able to overcome that block. Some other times you may experience the block, but then what do you do about the block? Sometimes you can engage in another thing. If you're writing a novel, you can create a short story and or even write a poem. It will jog your memory and you will be able to overcome it. So change from the routine, that repetitive kind of habit, and you will be able to overcome the block.
Oh, awesome. I have experienced that time and again, whereby I take a pen or I take my laptop, try to scribble down something and nothing is coming in my mind. So, Mr. Andrew, we can't finish this podcast without you telling us your favorite author in Kenya, of course, and who is your mentor?
This is a difficult question. It is because favorite author? I don't really have a person that I can say this is my favorite because I like sampling. Actually, I have read so many works by people like Dean Koontz. I have read so many works by Chinua Achebe. I've read so many works by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. And if I were now, let me choose. You've asked me the favorite. You've not specified whether in Kenya or outside there.
In Kenya, of course, because we are promoting Kenyan literature, and you can go ahead and talk about an African author, of course, because in this podcast we promote African literature.
In Kenya, there's this guy. His name is Author Sakwa Ogoma. The man comes from Western Kenya. And there was this book that he had written known as The Campus Exile. That book was nice. Really nice. And there is also another person that I follow but have not yet been able to read the book called Saleh Clarissa. And but for now, Sakwa takes my vote on that one.
Oh, wow. So you've told us that you have other works. Tell us about the other works. Tell us when we're expecting those books to be on our doorsteps, and how can we still reach out to you, and how can you still get copies of your books?
All right. I have a book and which is undergoing the first stage of publishing, which is editing. I edit and publish with Ari Publishers Limited. It is owned by Nahashon Harrison. And we are doing an anthology of poetry. Its title is Your Alibi is Dead. A collection of several poems by myself. I have not involved another person within the anthology because I created it myself. Now, there is also another complete book that is still on the pipeline. I have given it a curious title, which is Revenge. And this is a novel, which is a bigger one. It spans the entire world. This is a book that is going to take you to United States of America. It is going to take you to Africa, Cape Town, South Africa. It is going to take you to Nigeria. Actually, you'll be traveling through the book from one place to another, and it is also going to show you another different kind of a version. In the Way of Seeing, you've seen marriage breaking. In the Revenge, you are going to see marriage really working for two people who are working. Actually, people who have whom you don't think that marriage can work. There are also other stories that I've submitted to be included in anthologies. Like there's this group of authors we call the Candid Writers. I have submitted a story that is known as The Lost, which is a story that is about how an orphan girl goes to live with a maternal aunt, and while there she's denied education, and she later she ends up becoming a sex worker in Motwapa in Kenya, southern coast. And it really brings about why a person would choose that kind of a life, which is a life that can be frowned upon. Then there's also another story that I have submitted for junior secondary school, and this one is called Bad Luck. It is a book that I have, it is a story that I would like to be featured in an anthology of short stories, and it shows about the life of a young man, the friendship in the childhood, and all that. So there are so many stories. Others, there is also another manuscript I've written, which is I have given a curious title, I am not yet done with you, and it is a story that really explores the folklore of Gini, the Gini, especially those people who have associated with the Arabs and the Swahili. They know these Gini, and I have really analyzed that story. There are also other many stories that I will not be able to talk about today, but be ready. There are so many works which are coming out.
Oh, to my audience, you need to be ready. This is big. I think, Mr. Andrew, you're so talented and gifted. That is quite a lot. I write, but that is really quite a lot, and congratulations. So that takes us to the next step. And right now, I want us to, speculate and tell us, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years as a writer or as an author?
5 years is quite a lot because so many things can happen within the span of 5 years. But where I see myself, actually, you as my host, you've been able to read my book. And as you read, I think you are not the only person that has seen that the book can be made into a good movie. So I was thinking in 5 years' time, I would be able to put out a craft out there that will be generally agreed upon, and someone might see the book, read it, and take it and adopt it into a movie that is going to be playing somewhere out there, because I know it is possible. I am also foreseeing that in 5 years I will be able to create so many books out there because it is possible to do it. Better craft than this one, masterpieces.
And we wish you the very best luck. So the second last question, of course, is how can the Kenyan government, or what can the Kenyan government do to help the upcoming writers and authors bloom and their works be seen in the whole world?
The biggest problem in Kenyan writing, and I think this is a problem that majority of our authors share, is that we have the issue of piracy. Sometimes you are online, you're going through the WhatsApp, and someone sends a list of so many titles of African authors, and they say that they are selling each title at 20 shillings. So I think if there was, the government could come up with a policy that is going to bring about the issue of piracy to be completely done away with, and to really bring about all the authors. Maybe they can create a club that is going, we are all going to be able to showcase our talents. In so doing, we'll be able to be put out there, and it will really work wonders, because majority of the people want to really create craft, but they are afraid. What if I create this and I don't end up getting anything because of those people who are going to pirate my book? I think that is it.
I get you clearly. And so, Mr. Andrew, what is your parting shot and last word that you'd like to tell each and every upcoming writer and author?
Like a good meal, writing, you need to have a recipe for cooking that kind of a meal that is mouth-watering, very delicious, with a aromatic smell that is going to make you feel like eating. Now, for you to be a good writer, all you need to do is pick up your pen or pick up your laptop and type. Write. But you cannot write what you don't know. Read and write. I think the input is reading, the output is writing. So you cannot sit there and assume that you are going to write a good book. There is a proverb that says that those who have not gone to town, they really praise their mothers and say that my mother is the best cook in the world. So as you read other people's books, you'll be able to see your own weaknesses, your faults, but you're also going to get other perspectives of writing. Now, in this world of technology where AI is taking all the spaces, I would also discourage others from using AI, because AI does not really have a perspective. You can use it; it is good. But then, when majority of the people, when they read your book and they realize that you have really used AI, they will not really want to associate with your book, because they'll be asking themselves, what can I really relate with if this book was written using artificial intelligence? So, no one is going to write your story. It is for you to write your own story. Get out there, take a pen, and write.
Oh wow, no one is going to write your story. It's for you to take a pen and write your own story. How can we reach out to you through social media platforms?
In social media, I am active on Facebook and WhatsApp. I have not really grown the other social media platforms. You can reach me through the WhatsApp. I don't know whether I'm supposed to give the number or...
Yeah, you can still give out your number to anybody who wants to reach out to you, maybe for mentorship. And apart from mentorship, anybody who wants to purchase a copy.
All right. My number in WhatsApp and even in calling 0796987194. On Facebook, I have 2 accounts. The one for authorship is Author Andrew Ngumbau. If you get to your Facebook and search Author Andrew Ngumbau, it is going to bring out that, and you will be able to see a lot of content that I've really created and put out there. So I have some of the copies with me, and I am planning to take some copies at Honoria Bookstore, so that whoever is within Nairobi or within wherever they are, they can be able to access the book. I am also working with my publisher to put the book in Amazon, so that whoever is wherever in the world can be able to purchase the book and have a taste of what it is all about.
Oh, that is good news that you're going to have the book in Amazon, and I am really looking forward to that, because at Shine Africa Podcast, we always have an international delegation. To our international delegation and audience, of course, our author comes from Kenya, so it's +254. Thank you so much, Mr. Andrew Ngumbau, for finding time and being at Shine Africa Podcast. We have loved your work. We have loved the kind of knowledge you've given to each and everybody here. We are grateful to you, and we believe that this knowledge is going to stir even the upcoming writers and make them believe in themselves, that they are able to write and they're able to publish. Taking whatever it takes, they'll be able to have their works out here. So all what we are wishing you is the very best in your writing journey. We're looking forward even to partner with you in many, many, many more upcoming books. And you're looking forward to be at the forefront in helping you even, reach out to many people out here through your book. We are grateful to God for such a gift. So thank you, and we welcome you again to Shine Africa Podcast. We're also looking forward to the other new releases, so that you may also come back here and review them. So thank you so much, and we are welcome again and again to Shine Africa Podcast.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is all mine.
Read and lead. Thank you for joining today's show. Let's redefine the African narrative through literature.